My friend, welcome to the world's best kept secret podcast, the podcast that shows spiritual entrepreneurs how to clarify their message and then how to turn that clarity into revenue. I'm your host, Prima Jope, a mentor and message expert since 2020. Whether you seek to simply clarify your message or feel ready to monetize your brilliance, this is your safe space for actionable guidance and practical tools on how to turn your woo into predictable revenue. Let's get started, shall we? 2 years ago, I had a client, and this client struggled to market herself on social media for like 90 days. And one day we sat down and we listed all the places where she could meet people. I said, okay, forget Facebook. Assume there's no one on Facebook. List for me all the places that your people right now hang out. And we listed. And we came to one place that I was curious about. She said she was a member of a big church, 700 people per Sunday or something like that. And I said to her, because she did marriage stuff, the problem she solved was helping people deal with conflict. If you're married, you probably know like how big conflict is a problem in marriages. And so what I landed on, I was like, if you were to give a talk in your church around conflict, do you think people would be interested in that? And she was like, yeah. I was like, how would that have to work? And she was like, well, I could talk to the pastor. But we had to do a lot of things to like get the resistance out of the way and get to a point where she could really go to the pastor and say, I have something to offer the community. And it probably took her a week to process that. And then finally, she goes to church. And after the service, she gets up and tells the pastor that she can help the congregation understand how to fight better, how to resolve conflict better. And what she thought was like the pastor was going to read her card, like an announcement. If you wanted to learn more, contact this person, whatever. And what the pastor said is, next Sunday, you're up. I'll preach. And after the service, I'll tell everybody, all the marrieds, to stay behind, and we'll have 30 minutes. And you are talking about how to resolve this conflict thing and how not to keep fighting with your spouse, because I want some of that. Needless to say, that Sunday, she processed all her things. We built her pillars and all, put together something cool. And she spoke for 30 minutes and had 25 people take her up on a free conversation. So after her speech, she was like, if you're interested in getting personalized feedback on your own situation, here's my number. Call me or just give me your card after we're done here. She collected 25 cards and signed about 15 people of that. She did one-on-one, so she didn't even have the space to serve everyone. But that was how her lead problem got solved. I tell you this story because a lot of us are stuck where to find leads, how to get to them, and all of those things. And what I do find is really the problem is not that there are no leads. The problem is either we're looking in the wrong places or we're really not magnetic enough for the leads to find us. There's people reading your posts every day on Facebook. There's people watching these videos every day. And Facebook keeps showing them these videos. But maybe in their head, they're like, I don't trust her. I don't believe her. I don't know what they're saying. But there's people who are qualified to work with you every day who are looking at your work and they're not taking you seriously. And the part of really mastering your lead generation is being good at what you do. Having something that works. So that if you meet someone for 5 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes, that they feel the need to talk about you to somebody else. You may be watching this and you may not buy from me, but you may go and tell someone, there's that lady I always see doing her live videos. I really get a lot from them. Number one rule of getting leads is know what you're doing and really be good at what you do. So that if you ever have a chance of being in front of someone that you can serve, that you do a good job, because word of mouth so far is the biggest way that people hire others. And the higher your prices are, the more word of mouth really comes to play. What I wanted to do is I wanted to give you like a very quick recap of this lesson. It's a lesson in the Best Kept Secret Pathway. It's a course I sell for $497. You can access it free when you go to my school community, Best Kept Secret, or you can just buy it using my link tree, which is in my bio. $497, or you can access it when you become a member of my community. Your choice. But I wanted to talk about this lesson because I feel like a lot of people are confused about leads, where to find them, how to enroll them, and all of the things. And I have worked with so many clients that were doing 10 things to get leads and they were not getting any. And so I felt that this would be very helpful for people. First things first, the easiest way to get leads is to become someone that brings value or somebody that people can take away from. I don't know if that's an English word. Become someone that people can come and take things from. Have something people can take. What are the things you can have? Have a report around how to 11x your revenue. If I wrote a report around how to 3x dash 11x your revenue in 2025, I bet some people would take me up on that. And through that report, I would then invite them for a free call to have like a custom plan. And through that conversation, if people like the plan, chances are they might hire me to implement the plan. Write a bestseller and give it away. I wrote a book around X, and I'd be more than willing to ship you the book. I don't know why I'm flipping between connections. My internet seems to be jumpy. The other thing you can give is write a book, bestseller or not. Write a book that solves a problem that your audience have and give it away. In fact, ship it to people, maybe on your own cost. I don't know. Or give it away and maybe have them pay shipping. But make it as easy as possible for people to take from you. The other thing you can do is have a podcast and offer people your platform. Is there any lesson, any conversation that can happen between you and the people you serve? Some people it doesn't work, some people it works. The people I help are best kept secrets. And so for me, it works for me if I bring them up as guests because the work I do is first and foremost message clarity. So using my podcast, we can really help streamline the message and get them in front of more people, which is really what they want. Is there a conversation that you can have with the people you're called to serve as a portion, a segment of your podcast? I don't know. People love being on podcasts. It's made me a very welcome guest in people's DMs because everyone wants to be on a podcast somehow. You can also just be somebody that is a good speaker and can give like so much value on people's podcasts. So you become this person who everyone wants on their show. I have been in places, spoken, and the host offered to hire me. Is there a way that you can magnetize yourself to be on podcasts of people that you can actually serve? Is there a way that you can create a segment on your podcast where you can interview the people you want to JV with, the people that you would want to list swap with, the people that you would like to do summits with? Could you have them as guests? I have a lot of people that I can do JVs with right now. And who knows if we bring together 10 people, how big is that list and how far can we go with our lead generation during that? What is it that you can do to offer people value? You can surely offer a pressure-free conversation, but sometimes it gets really tricky to offer that. What I find very easy when I meet people is giving them something tangible. I wrote this report and I would be willing to send it to you. I have a bestseller. I wouldn't mind sending it to your box number. I have a podcast. I'd love to have you as a guest. People light up for stuff like that. What can you offer people? I've offered free conversations to kind of create a plan for people, but that needs a little bit of skill. You need to kind of know how to position that. And sometimes you need a bit of rapport to sell that. But what is it that you can sell to get in the door? What can you give people to get in the door? Because the hardest bit is really getting in the door. A lot of people, when they have someone who is qualified, they possibly know what to do to turn them into a client. A lot of people that I talk to, their problem is no one is in their room. No one is talking to them. No one is in their chambers talking about being helped. And so the problem is not really anything other than there's no one that is seriously talking to me. I am not talking to enough people. You can solve that problem for yourself by having something people can take. So really think, how can I turn myself from a pitcher to someone who is a welcome guest? Special report to take people from here to here. The simple 5 steps to land your soulmate. I don't know. What report can you write? What can you give? A book? I don't know. What else can you offer people? Something that can help them. Allow people to take. Get in the door and slowly but slowly walk your way through the conversation or whatever way you convert people. When that is done, the other thing that really needs to happen is do a great job when you invite people into your conversation so you get hired. So the first thing is get in the door, and I think that's the hardest. Like, how can you help yourself get in the door? How can you get in the door for your people, the people that you want to serve? Step number 1 doesn't have to be marriage, but you kind of have to get in the door somehow. So how can you make it easier for yourself to get in the door? Second thing is create a pressure-free conversation. How can you get involved in a conversation? And where I like DMs, I really like being able to sit with someone one-on-one and having a chat, whether that's in Zoom or in person. The more I charge, the more I appreciate having a conversation. Do a good job when you have someone in front of you. Shift them from like 1 to 2 so they can hire you to move from 2 to 10. A lot of people are not hiring you because they think you're just one other expert who is, I don't know, blowing your own trumpet. So how can you use the time that you have with them to prove that you can actually help them? Help people by actually helping them. Right now, my school community has 50 people or so, and I am coaching people through their message and how to get clients. But after they've got clients in the door, then there's other levels they can hire me to do other things, like actually creating their thought leadership stuff. But for me to earn their trust in creating that in a year-long mastermind, I need to first help them clarify their message and get clients in the door and say, I'm the deal here, like I can help you. And then now we can go into the other door, which is, do you want to create your thought leadership now? Do a good job. Whoever gets in contact with you, give them a shift. So even if they don't hire you, they can talk about you to somebody. That aside, whether you're old school, hate Facebook, hate social media, or whether you are the bomb.com of social media and you know everything, here is a list of places that I think about when I go to meeting people. Really, the goal is to meet people and know what to give them to get them in the door. Know what to do with that conversation, which I call the pressure-free enrollment conversation. And then know how to get hired. So now the other thing is like, where do we meet people? And there's endless places you can meet people, whether you love this social media stuff or you don't, you can still sign clients. My client didn't have to use social media. All her clients were sat in her church. She just didn't know how to reach them. And when we could process her fears, she was able to face the pastor and she got a slot to speak. And up to today, she's still having more inquiries than she can serve from that very church. And that church has like branches and branches in her country. One good source is all you need to fill your program if you charge high ticket and do like personal work. Sometimes all you need is one source. So there's a list of places you can begin to look. Who can you JV with? And what would you have to offer them to get in front of them? When I want to JV with someone, I usually will invite them to be a guest on my podcast, and then we'll start from there. We'll see how we feel around that. And if it feels aligned, I'll invite them to do something. Is there a way you can offer your JVs something that would be irresistible for them? Can you help them win? Can you help them text something from you? Number two, I know you probably heard this over and over again, that's networking, whether it's in person or virtual. Really what I find to be the problem is a lot of people go to tech and a lot of people go to places that don't have the right person. Is there a networking event where you can pay to get in? Because if you can pay, that's already a filter to something. Are there events happening that you can pay to get in front of? Any amount of money is good. Free ones, well, you could find some people there. I just don't like going to free stuff because then I have to filter through everything. I like to go to places where there's a filter that has already been put in place that I know that this person actually can spend on their problems. So is there a networking group you can go to, offline or online, that has the kind of people that you want to serve? Do you have something you can offer those people to get in the door? And then do you have a clear follow-up process after that to get them in a conversation? And do you know what you're talking about in that conversation for them to become a client or to give you a referral? Where could you speak? Locally and globally. Are there things like local chapters where you live? You could ask ChatGPT based on who you serve and where you live, which are the local places that are already meeting, which have the people that you serve or which speak about the same topic. You'll find a lot of people there, and half of those people don't know what they're doing there. Half of those people are there to tech. So if you go to give, and if you know how to turn people from being in the door to being in your programs, you win. There's a lot of people trying to do networking events and they have no idea what they're doing, or they have no idea what they have to offer. So if you're the person who's going and you've done your magnetism work, you've done your inner stuff, dealt with your buttons, you know what your soul strategy is, you know what you have to offer, you know your message, you know what the gift is, and you know how to get people from I barely know you to I really like you, I want to work with you. You're really like 99 miles ahead. A lot of people do these things and they have like no idea what they're doing. They're just there to get leads or to take away from people. When you go to tech, you don't find much. It's like being in a relationship where your goal is to tech. Chances are you won't be taking for long because your partner will get depleted. Versus if you're in a relationship to give, then your partner feels like they want to give back. Are there paid masterminds that you can be a part of? Well, no, it doesn't have to cost a fortune. But if you charge 50 grand a year, maybe you can join a mastermind for 10 grand. I don't know. Are there masterminds that you can join and you can serve people with your specific skill? Are there memberships you can pay for? You can go meet people there. They don't have to be free. But when you look at what you charge versus what you can pay to be in a group of 900 people, maybe it's worth it. Who in the industry is having all of the attention, all of the people? Can you get there and kind of serve people? Because people will be there suffocating for help. But can you go there and help? Can you help people long enough? Some people will want to hire you. There's so many places you can go. Social media, I'll probably do that last, because that's a full program. In fact, in 2022 also, I only taught social media as the only strategy. So that's an entire program. But really, the way I look at social media now is go to groups. I love paid ones, like memberships, which are paid. For the person who has the most people in your industry, who is serving the person that you want to serve, make them your friend, like add them as a friend. I'm not talking about Facebook because that's where I've spent most of my time. Get involved in what they do, support what they do, and post your offers on your profile. Invite people into conversations in your profile. Chances are, if you're involved in their own stuff, when you post, they will see your stuff. That's how it works. So you got this community of the person you serve. Maybe there's thousands of those. You add some people that look like the perfect person you want to serve, and you get involved. I don't know how, but you get involved in their own stuff. Engagement is really like the lowest way you can do that. You can really get involved. When I go to a community and I want to meet someone, I will add them and I'll send them a message and say, I've looked at your work. I really love what you do. Would you love to be a guest on my podcast? Now that's more than let me comment on your post. Because when they come and be a guest, I spend time with them and now we can really navigate this thing. Like, is there something that I can help them with? Is there something they can help me with? I don't know. After that encounter, chances are we're no longer strangers. And now when they see my work, they can read it because they know me. Social media, Facebook, organic. That's really it. You go meet people, selectively add the people you want to serve or you can serve. You get involved in them. Same thing. What can you offer them? That would be irresistible for them to say no to. Get in the door. Have a chat. Is there anything that you can do to help them? Help them move from 1 to 2 and see how they hire you to move from 2 to 10. That's social media. The latest thing that my friends seem to be doing is they go to all their organic content and see the most performing and turn that into an ad, put like a call to action to something they can buy or something they can go to, like a webinar. I just know it works, but I haven't done it. I'm just, I think, too lazy to figure out the ad stuff, but it's working for people. People are crushing it with this thing. It's just more to like how to get 5x more attention from your audience is to turn these best performing posts into ads. And you can make it a real ad with something to sell or with a webinar people can go to, or with a masterclass people can go to. Ads are shown to as many people as possible on your feed. Whereas content, really organic content, doesn't reach as much people. But an ad, they show it to people. You just have to put money behind it. And so using organic marketing as like a way to create proof of what actually works, what the market wants, and getting that concept which the market wants and running an ad to it and feeling whatever the event you want to feel. I'm very keen to try this, but I haven't. But I know it's working. Every day I see people crushing it with it. I know people who teach this. Start a community. Start a community and help people. At this point, I would probably go to school because they love business owners and they optimize whatever they do for business owners and fun for the viewers. So I love school because they really are serious about business and very laid back about everything else. And there's a lot of fun to be had, and combine business with fun and you have me. Start a community. Get in some people, then get it. Like after 100 people, my community is going to pay it. I'm thinking $497. And what I do inside there is really what I do when people pay me. It's just that when you come late to the party, you just have to pay. Create a community and demonstrate what you can do for people. Create a podcast, yours. It doesn't have to be entirely about your ideal person, but it can be a segment where you interview some people that are qualified to be your best clients. Last time I had a conversation with someone around starting a podcast. They were like a relationship coach. And I said to them, why don't you create a segment in your podcast where you talk about stories? People want to talk about their love stories or how they met, who they met. Like, why don't you interview normal couples around how they met their person? And whoever is excited about their marriage, about how they met, can come up and share their story. And that is how you enter their world, because people who are excited about their marriage and relationships always want to make it better, always want to invest in themselves to make things better. So why don't you interview people who have stories to share around how they met their partner or their soulmate or whatever the thing is? And that was like shifting for them, because their podcast was all about how to get your relationship to do the best things. I don't know, best relationship, blah, blah, blah. And then they told. And I was like, okay, why don't you just break the pattern? And for the next 30 days, just interview couples, normal couples who want to share their story of how they met. Just like that, they started seeing people that they could potentially help. People started coming, sharing their story, and going, oh my God, we love you guys. Can you help us? Sometimes the path is just outside the box and you just have to look there. Is there anything you can do on your podcast with the people that you want to serve? To serve them fast? I don't know. Is there anything you can do to shift people with your free stuff? I hope that really helps you kind of see leads. I think that the problem is even not like there's no leads. The problem is knowing what to do when you're in front of the right person. Problem is really knowing what you're doing in a way that you can help people self-select. Problem is most people are not magnetic enough. Most people haven't done their stuff, like they haven't dealt with their patterns, and they're not doing something that is in alignment with like their soul purpose. And when they show up to speak, you're like, yeah, just another guru. So a lot of people haven't done their client magnetism stuff. And so when you look at them, you feel like there's just another expert in the corner who you don't care about. A lot of people go to meetings, masterminds, groups, wherever, to tech. And if they try to serve, they are pretending. I don't know about you, but I've come to a point where I don't know what people are teaching people to do organically. People find you, they add you, they send you a message that they're happy to meet you, and you're like, cool, maybe they are. And then out of nowhere, they bomb you with some kind of offer. Can you genuinely connect with people and offer them something? Offer something, create a report. Ship them your book, pay £10 or $10. Ship them a book. Like you're paying for ads, something like that, like pay for the traffic. Create a segment on your podcast and give them your hour, interview them about their genius, because that's undeniable value. What can you give that is not a wishy-washy thing? Like, what can you genuinely give people that is pure service? I think the biggest problem is people have lip service going. They're saying they want to help you, but really in their pocket, they have their offer. Like, they're just saying, I want to help you, but below their lip, it is like, I want to pitch you. I have this thing in the mouth. I want to sell you something, but I'm now pretending. That doesn't go well. Can you genuinely come from a place where you want to serve people, where you want to really help people? That doesn't really happen until you deal with your own internal need to take. Can you get balanced in a way that you genuinely can be in someone's life to offer help and make their life better? That's internal stuff now. That has nothing even to do with strategy, but everything to do with, have you done your internal work? Like, can you genuinely show up to help somebody? I have hired people and I felt like they were taking all the time from me. Paid 5 figures, hired someone, and every time I tried to get help from them, I felt like it was very transactional. It is either I'm getting or there's no deal here. Like, how transactional can you get? And these are people I was paying, and I was like, geez, like, how transactional can you get? Are you transactional? Like, are you just talking to people because you're seeing them as a lead? Because that doesn't work. People want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be appreciated. Can you do that? Without your offer under your tongue, if you can do that, you have no problem seeing people going, I want to hire you. What else do you have? What is your next step? People will ask, because you know what the market is full of? Everyone who is just having lip service and pretending to care. When you can actually care about your audience winning, all the difference. It's the difference between night and day. I hope this little lesson helps about lead getting or something. And the last thing I want to end up with is someone is always watching. So just go and do your best. Thank you for joining this conversation on on the world's best kept secret podcast today. If you feel ready to stop keeping your work a secret, head over to primajope.com and request